But let's just get up into Canada.
Keep on going.
Full commitment north.
Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, I did the same thing like 3 years ago.
It was your
with
trip,
my daughter.
yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter just got. Again, I think I mentioned it before. She got interested in other cultures and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, we're not going out of the country. Well, out of North America. Mm-hmm. So, but we can drive across the border if you want.
Absolutely.
But how about Montreal? It's kind of cool. So we basically did about the same trip that you guys just did. So yeah, pretty cool. Niagara Falls. You stopped by there?
Yes.
Did you stay at night?
We did.
Okay.
Niagara Falls, it's just a cool thing.
It
really is a cool nature thing. We actually got a pretty decent room in a hotel that looked out over the falls at night, so you could see. They have that light show, which is cool to see. And after a while, you're like, okay, cool. It's the same thing. We walked down there the next morning, and it's so intense and loud, and the volume and just the sheer power of Mother Nature thing.
Yeah.
Like you see the water split to the U.S. side and to the Canadian side, and it's
there's certain areas. I mean, you can get literally like what 20 feet, maybe 30. There's a couple areas that you feel like you feel
could
like you're
reach
right
out and
on
touch
it. Yeah,
it. Really.
you really do.
You can't.
Right where the water's going over the falls, and you're like, man. I mean,
it's a pretty solid experience.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's worth the go, and it's I'll say an easy drive for us from here. It's
Sure.
like 8 hours. That's not horrible.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
Hell, I mean, you guys have both done
Atlanta.
18 to 20 hours. But on the way there, we stopped in Cleveland.
Why?
What'd you do in Cleveland?
I'll ask why. What
did
the
you go
hell?
to the Rock Hall, or did you do anything cool?
Rock Hall.
Rock Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, I've wanted to go there. I've never been there. We
You're looking for LeBron, so you can run him over.
Bron.
right in his future WNBA team.
We picked up,
Yes.
picking up Baker Mayfield and bringing him back.
Right. Hey, we need a
He
backup.
lives at the
Matt Ryan
Brown Stadium.
Yeah.
The alarm code is 6.
6. Yeah. He lives next to, is it Marilyn Manson? Who's he live next to? Hang on. Who was it?
Oh, no, Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. Yeah.
Alice Cooper's at the Rock Hall. He lives at the Rock Hall,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Baker lives at the stadium.
Yes.
Anyway,
So
go ahead.
A friend of mine years ago.
You stopped there for gas, right?
Yeah.
Please tell me that's all it
No,
was.
this is actually calculated. Diners, dine-ins and drives. You know,
Diners, drive.
triple D.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always say it the wrong way.
Guy Fieri.
Yep. Actually, I've gotten to kind of like that
You're
show.
friends with him?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, did
He's
I,
just some
did I
guy.
say
Oh,
that?
okay. You're
He's
name
just some
dropping
guy
now.
now.
He's name
No, I
dropping.
said a friend of mine got me into that show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we looked up a place to go, a triple D place to go, and whatever. It didn't work out. I'm like, man, I knew the Christmas Story house
Yes.
was
Yes.
in
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
was in Cleveland.
Yes, I
I'm
remember.
like, man, if this isn't too far out of the way, turns out it is right off the interstate on the way to Niagara Falls, essentially.
Huh.
Oh, really?
Who knew?
Who
Well,
knew?
you did.
Well, you
I
apparently
did.
you found out.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my phone as I'm driving, which I don't like to do, especially in an area you don't know. And Mary's like, "Hey, can I help you over there?" I'm like, "No, I'm good."
I got
'Cause-
this.
I know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, because we have
I got
this,
this.
we have an unfortunate history of saying, "Hey, kids, do you want to do X?" without researching any of the details.
Where X
is
is.
it open?
Yes.
You know, can
Right.
we any of that? So learn valuable lessons, especially when they're younger, not to do that. So I'm like, no, I'm good. So we pull up and I'm like, all right, let's get out of the car. And the kid's like, where are we at? What are we stopping
What the
here
hell?
for?
So they look up from their phones and they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, we stopped. Where are we now?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you walk up and you're like, I'll be damned. That's the house.
That's the porch. Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So not to bore you too much, I actually had a good time there. It was cool. They have a lot of the original movie props there, which is kind of cool. I got to hold the blue bowling ball that he gets. Turns out the tavern right across the street. I'm like, hey, we're not going to go to that Triple D place. You know, we're eating here because we're all hungry. And I just asked our guy, I'm like, hey, can kids go in that restaurant? Because you never know.
In Ohio.
It's a bar.
It's Ohio, though.
And it looked like it's a bar in the middle of a neighborhood. I'm like, man, it would be great to live in a neighborhood that you could
Walk to.
Absolutely walk
stumble
to.
there and stumble home.
Small dive bar. He's like, oh, yeah, kids go there. It turns out they just filmed an episode of Triple D there. I'm like, no kidding.
There you go.
I'm like, well, it works out. Perfect.
Look at Dad scoring
Look
the
at
win.
you.
Yeah, it was solid. They had great mac and cheese.
You're dad of the month, man.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Well, you're
pleased
dad of
for
the
day.
month for. Didn't you have another experience up in
Until
Quebec?
tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey,
It's in the month changes.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it today.
What was your other experience you had up there in Canada with your daughter?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
we did go into Montreal in part so she could try to speak French, and as Lynk said, she's into French and the culture and everything. I don't know much about it. I know going back a few episodes, we weren't big fans of the French.
No.
Some of us weren't.
F-bombs were flying.
There were some,
Well, those
disparaging comments.
Those bastards want to secede from Canada, don't they?
The bastards.
Quebec.
I don't know. I did
Probably.
not.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
I didn't talk to a whole lot of people, whatever. So
Were they friendly?
yeah,
Were they?
yeah, ish. I'll say ish. Right? Certain circumstances. Yeah, I walked out of the CN Tower in Toronto because the guy I felt like yelled at my kids. Actually, and by the way, this in Canada at Christmas Story House, they let you go upstairs, look around. I hear the tour guide dude go, I'm going to go upstairs and check on those kids because there's a light that just got turned off.
What?
Yeah. And they tell you, hey, you can walk around, you can touch everything, just don't go in the chained off, right? My kids are very, very well. But one of them is a rule follower to the extreme, right? So there's another couple up there that turned the lights off, not my kids. So I told the dude, hey man, just for the record,
Those were my
can,
kids.
it wasn't my kids that turned that light off. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, I actually should have gone after that dude a little bit more to try to. Cause I hate when somebody
Just assumes
Assume.
that
Clearing your name. You didn't want to.
that the
you
damn
make sure they know.
young Yankees are the ones
Yeah.
that turn the lights off.
Yeah, so the dude at the CN Tower, before you can even pay to go in, I just want to see how much it was. Turns out it's $40 now, Link.
Holy shit!
And we've been there. It's cool, but isn't that cool?
No, it's not that
40
cool.
bucks.
Not
a head?
$40 cool.
Yeah, so you're in for $1.60 Canadian for your family. I'm like, I'm not swinging. It's an observation tower.
Right.
That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $40 to look at each other and go, no, you step out on the glass floor. No, you do it. No, I'll do it if you do it.
I pointed that out from the bottom, and Kylie's like, "No, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, that thing was crazy.
Was it? Like, yeah.
I forget how tall it is. You probably know because you were just there.
Man. No, I didn't even get inside.
Oh, okay.
We're at security, and before you can go in to check the cost or anything, I'm like, yeah, I just want to know how much it costs. She's like, oh, you got to go through security. I'm like, bitch, can't you just tell me?
Just
right?
tell me.
Right.
You
It's
know
not a
how much it
secret.
is.
You know what it is.
So the dude at security,
I can either-
like TSA type stuff.
Yeah, I can
right?
either ask you or get on the internet and find out. Just tell me.
Yeah, or go through security, walk to 10 feet. Yeah.
Sure.
So backpack comes off, and I think it was Matthew first starts to walk through. Dude's like, stay here. It kind of snipped at him a little bit. I'm like, all right, that didn't feel right to me, but no big deal. Then he does it to Kylie. He's like, stay here, and he hits Mary. I'm like, you know what? I picked my shit up. I'm like, we're out of here. Well, I said, you're not talking to my family that way. And we walked out. And the chick at the door is like, oh, is there something wrong? I just kept going.
That prick back there.
So I mean, I guess getting to your question, it's just like here. There's a
And the
a
thing
mixed
is,
bag.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's even Toronto. That's not even into the what we perceive as the crappy French bad attitude.
Exactly.
And they hate Americans.
Arrogance.
It's arrogant
Their
type
arrogance.
stuff.
Toronto is so
yeah.
U.S.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
is.
It is. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you find dicks in anywhere.
Whoa.
Really, where do you find your dicks?
I'm sure there's solid.
Why are you
I'm
out
sure,
looking for
I'm
dicks?
sure there's solid dicks up there. Right?
We could not find a dick on that otter. So we weren't sure if it was male or
It was an
female.
otterless, dickless otter.
You weren't. You weren't.
It's an otterless, dickless otter.
No, you just. You just weren't
I
trying
swear
hard
this is
enough.
only my third beer. I swear to Christ.
And,
Yeah, but
ninth,
you got-
and ninth painkiller.
That's not painkiller.
At least
Yeah.
6 painkillers.
A little Percocet and Yingling.
I'm not a big painkiller.
We've
I don't like
never
that.
had
I'm
to
not a
refill
drug
a
guy.
prescription this quick, Mr. Hagen.
Weren't you just here this morning?
Well, I was sharing with friends.
I'm
What are
with you.
talking
I'm
about?
not.
I'm
I'm not
not
a
a-
medicine guy.
Either am I.
I really am not.
Either am I. They
I
give me
struggle with
massive
it.
headaches and.
So to answer your question, I feel like I'm going to take a break after this because I'm talking way too much.
Sure.
No, you're fine.
Well, then get me a beer so I can shoot somebody with
Oh,
a
okay.
bottle
I'll
cap.
do that.
Oh yeah, from 2 feet away.
Somebody fill the sign. Jeff, can you sing us a song?
Yes.
Ebony and
La Isla Bonita.
So I had the cool experience of buying my daughter her first legal drink. Now, we had an experience in Mexico a handful of years ago. They were like, oh, there's no drinking age here. So she actually had a drink there, but it wasn't legal. Mm-hmm. Turns out there is a drinking age in Mexico. Who knows?
Yes. Yes.
They just liked it.
They just don't care.
That's what they do. They tell you whatever to spend more money. So we sat at a. You guys would have loved this bar. This Irish bar was older, little worn, but had some authentic, cool looking stuff to it. Great place. We just sat down in the corner of the bar, had a drink. She didn't know what she wanted, which is good. I even asked her. I'm like, "Hey, Kylie,
Yeah. Okay. You gave her the test.
I'm like, it's cool. I don't care what your answer is, right? But just have you had anything to drink prior to today?
because I don't want to buy you something that you don't like. That's just wasting money at that point.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yes.
if I know if you've had something to drink and you know what
Yes.
you like, just tell me now.
Yeah.
Just so I can buy you something. It's not a waste of time.
She asked for
Or
a
money.
tequila shot and
You know, that's
and
my
a
favorite.
belly shot.
It was the confidence that she ordered it with that I was like,
it was like,
what the hell?
Yeah.
I watch a lot of movies, Dad.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
a lemon twist.
Right.
Yes. So, what was her flavor?
So she wanted to try wine.
Yep.
Yep. That's
This is an Irish bar. It did not.
Yeah.
It was about
You're getting Muggin, David.
100 feet from our Airbnb. So
box.
it was the right choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a Pinot and a Chardonnay. She didn't like either of those.
Keep your hands
that's-
off my Pinot.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll try, Tom. It's been a while since I've seen you though, and you could tell she really hasn't had anything
Sure,
to
sure.
drink.
Wine
Really
is
before.
wine is tough.
Yeah.
Wine's a
Yeah.
tough
As a-
starter.
yeah,
Even
it
the
is.
sweet stuff is hard. I have two 21-year-olds and had turned 21 within the last like 3 to 4 months.
Irish twins ish.
Sure. Yes. Actually, one is Central American, and yeah.
But
There's a big Irish
hey,
tendency down there.
Oh yeah.
yeah, they have a huge parade, right?
Yes, they do on St. Patty's Day. So yeah, but it's tough to if they're not
Yeah.
big drinkers.
Yeah.
The wine especially because we went and did a couple wine tastings with them and stuff, and like every single thing they tried didn't like.
Well, you gotta force it down
even
their
the
throat.
sweet stuff.
Yeah. You got to force it.
Sure, sure.
So, what did she end up getting?
So she tried both. She's like, I'm not sure which one to get, and I went the other way, Link. I'm like, hell with it, man. Let's
Get 'em both?
Yeah, let's load it up. Let's see what you do or don't like. I'm like, but hey, we're gonna be careful,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Because there's still that dad thing.
Absolutely.
But at some point, she actually liked my Carlsberg beer better than either of those.
Oh, there you
wines.
go.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
but I don't know. And then the bartender, she gave us a couple of small samples of beer. Just I'm like, I don't know, man. It took me a while to like beer.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
was it's an economic thing for
Yep.
me in college. But at some point, the night transitioned from it wasn't just dad being, hey, do this or do that when you drink. We actually were legitimately just having a drink.
Shooting shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yep.
Link, you might have said this, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I would drive that place tomorrow, the 14-hour drive,
Yeah.
to have that same experience.
Yeah.
Because
It was a good time.
That was cool. Now, Mary was there with us. I'm sorry, that's not true. My current wife was there with
Yeah,
us.
I was going to say, who the hell's that?
And she started talking to this lady from Indiana because we had Indiana hats on because it's so damn cold out. And I'm like, that's fine. You can have that conversation. Kylie and I just kind of sidebarred and talked a little bit. It was good.
You don't have to drive to Canada to do that. You can go to Wisconsin and take your kid in there.
No, Wisconsin's 21 now.
No, not with a parent.
For real?
Not with a parent.
Wow.
I thought that